So the way I develop my stuff usually is the notes section of my phone. So I'll just be on my phone and I'll just start working it out. And usually the funny part isn't even your first idea. It's what you turn it into, like the weird turn that it takes. And in this case, the inflation thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started typing it into my phone, and I think that my first idea was about like, listen, like married women don't like to blow their men, and that's sad, but I totally get it because if I was them, I wouldn't either because it's just way too valuable to give away. And then I guess it was probably me playing with it in my phone for a couple more days before I arrived on the, kind of devaluing your blowjob. And I'm like, oh my God, if I turn it into inflation and turn it into economics and then, turning it into like the fact that my wife understands business better than I do. It's like, that's when I felt like, so it probably was like a 4 or 5 day, like little arc before
Okay.
I got to anything resembling what you heard. But I'll tell you, so I probably worked on it in writing for 4 or 5 days. I told it an open mic and probably worked it at an open mic like twice before you saw that.
Oh wow.
And
That's
yeah, and that was the first time it really hit right because I really kind of put the ending together on that one. So yeah, you saw it early in the process.
You don't write down your joke. You put on your phone. You put, all right, here's the premise. This is I feel like these are the funny parts, and then you take that phone up at an open mic and you just reference the phone, or do you memorize? You leave the phone behind, and then
I leave it behind on my drive there because we live in the burbs. So
I can relate, yeah.
Yeah, so you always have a long drive. So I'm like talking to myself in the car on the way.
Okay.
And so, it's not that I take it lightly. I pulled up my phone while we were just talking.
Yeah.
I have 1,362 notes.
Wow.
Which means like different note documents. And that's not all jokes. A lot of it is other kind of creative projects that I'm working on and ideas and probably shit that has nothing to do with comedy too. But a lot of it is stand-ups. More of it than not
So
is
your stand-up mind exists on your phone. Without that phone, you have nothing.
I typed them into my laptop early on,
Okay.
but it's turned into the phone.
Okay. What did you do to improve on that joke? I want to know your editing process.
So what I do in that stupid like notes section of the phone is that before I have a show, I'll type out like Jumbotron, blowjob economics, taller slash balls, Irish Jew, all of powder room and just those tags. And then I'll have like 10 things. And then I'll think like, okay, all those things together, that's 12 to 13 minutes. Okay. And that's kind of how I structure my things. And there's some that I just always thought were good segues into the next one. And over the course of time, it's like I just kind of, if something bombs one night, I'll remove it from my next set list that I do. And whenever like subsequent shows, I look back at my most recent set list and I'll play with it based on that. So sometimes I'll have something not work the way I want just once and I will totally forget about it.
Okay.
It's not as scientific as it should be.
Okay, that's fair enough. I feel that you and I don't talk to the audience. Is it a fear?
For the most part, it's just what I prefer. Like I prefer seeing people's material. And people that are quick on their feet and that are great at crowd work, I give them a ton of respect. A lot of like my best friends in comedy, that is a big part of what they do. It's just not what I think it's, our early experiences with comedy is really formative. Mm-hmm. So I think of my favorite stand-up acts and it has nothing to do with crowd work.
Yeah.
And it's like, so just in my mind, I can't shake, that's just not what good stand-up is to me.
Okay.
You know, if I go out to a show, like I'm not gleefully talking on the way home about how funny he was at fucking with a heckler. Like I want to talk about like how good the material was. So that's kind of what I try to bring.
Okay.